Hello everybody, this is Japhet from the Arc of Trading, and we're back at it with another daily top 10 video. The last one for this week. My apologies, I didn't have one yesterday. Took a break, it was a holiday and there was no market, so I took a break, took that time off just to recharge a little bit, get some rest in, and realign everything for the stock market or for my trading, for my personal trading. So for today, we're going to look at the daily top 10, the trending stocks, and we're going to look at them objectively and analyze them and see where price action takes us for today. So before we do that, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button right here and hit that notification bell. Turn it on so that you'll be notified on my next videos. And if you're a returning viewer, let's get this video a thumbs up. It helps a lot with the algorithm and it pushes the video for more people to watch. So thank you for that. Thank you to those who have subscribed and stayed with me or kept tuning in to these episodes. So let's get right on to our first thing for today, which is the market summary. Excuse me. So yes, for today, our market was on a positive, went up on a positive 0.58%. So there was a positive note for today, even though we have a lot of foreign investors coming out. There were more foreign investors, foreign money coming out of the market at negative 972 million for today. But even with that, our market was on a positive 38.91 points today. So half the sectors are on green, half are on red, but we had more foreign investors definitely coming out for today. So up first, we look at PSE. What is PSE doing? What did it do today? So today it started off with a low of 66.81 points. So it went down way below here, but it managed to close positively and even touched the high of 68.27 points, even amidst all these net foreign coming out. So that's a good bounce from this area, but I am still sticking with my bias right here, or with the market bias as a whole. It's still on this downtrend and it got rejected right around this area, and we could still be potentially seeing a touch of the 6600 point zone right here that we have stated in as support. So if it does hold up above this and starts rallying massively from that, then we could say we would not be fearing this to go even beyond this. So yeah, but with these lower highs that we're seeing, this could potentially just keep moving on the downside, and then this could still be rejected and create just a new, a new lower high right around this area. So we shall see what it does, but we could still be seeing a move on the downside even to this support zone right here at 6100. So this is untested support zone, and we might see a test of it sometime in the future, but for now we are watching this immediate support right here at 6500 to 6600 points for the index. So up first for our daily top 10, we're looking at Dido. What did Dido do today? So it is wanting to build some level of support right around this area at 15.8 and 16.2. So it definitely hit that zone here at 16.2 area, and it acted as a resistance. It got rejected up there, but it also got rejected here at the bottom with our low of 15 pesos. Still went up, closed possibly at almost 1%, and closed at a price of 16.14 per share with a lot of foreign net coming in today. So it wants to build a level of support right around here. Sorry, my bad. Let me adjust this. So yeah, I wanted to build a level of support right around here, and we shall see in the next few days if this level holds up. This could be our support, but for now it's within this range and it's still deciding where it wants to go, because this could still go even lower, but this is too steep. and I think it would want to build a lower high here before, you know, deciding whether it wants to go up and retouch that 18 peso level. But for now, it's on a downtrend and it's still on this pullback right here, so we shall see what it does. But happily or positively, we are also on this, so it's on an undecided path right now. This ascending this symmetrical triangle, it's still deciding where it wants to go, whether break down a little bit more back to the 14 peso level or break above. So it's kind of in that crossroad right now, whether it wants to break down or it wants to break above towards the ceiling price at 18 or 19 pesos. So we shall see what Dito does. But for now, let's move on to our new stock on the block, which is LRW. Today, which is a day that this was like pumped way up in there at 94%. So this is a warrant actually. It's not a, I think it's not a typical public stock that we can trade, but this is a warrant. So as I see here, it doesn't have a ceiling. I was trying to research what warrants, how different warrants are, but yeah, but warrants don't have ceiling, so it doesn't apply the 50% rule on the ceiling, or I think the 30% maximum on the downside doesn't apply to warrants like the LRW for this one. So it was up at a high of 2.98, so almost 3 pesos, and everyone just pumped this from 1 peso range. So wow, seeing the daily candle, it definitely broke this level of resistance right here, and they just pumped it all the way up to 2.98. I think this was at a high of 180% even. Yeah, it was at 180% earlier today, but it closed at a positive 94%. So even if it doesn't have a ceiling, this is still price action. We're still looking at price action, and this is definitely on that pullback, and it definitely wants to build some sort of support right around this area. And if it does just that, that would be great. But on our 4-hour time frame, that's highly overextended from 1 peso. So I think this will have a little bit more pullback on the downside unless it gets rejected and builds some level of consolidation right here, right around this price point. So what is this range that we're looking at? We are looking at 1.85 to around 2. So let's see what it does. If it builds support right here on this area, and if it does just that, this would be a perfect candidate for another bounce up and this bigger range, and just retest this resistance at 3, because there's also a resistance right here at 2.90, 2.98 that we can clearly see. And if it does build some level of support, then it would be primed to go up even more. So we shall see what it wants to do. So I hope it does build some level of range right here, right around this area, right from 2 peso to 2.5. So that's a good range for this one, for it to build a solid support after rallying a massive 180% and now back down to 94%, closing in at 2 pesos with a lot of foreign net coming out. So let's move on to our next one in PHA. Sorry, excuse me. So PHA is creating some lower highs still. It might have gotten rejected here with a wick, but it did want to touch it once or twice more. It's still undecided. It's still in this ascending triangle, if you ask me. So it's still wanting to build a base somewhere and this is just not it yet. So this is the best I think that could happen. So we shall wait and see what it does, if it does want to break above or break down. But PHA is staying within this range. It's definitely still on this downtrend right here, and it closed at negative 1% at 2.95 with a lot of foreign net here as well. So it's not in the millions, but it's still quite significant. However, we are still maintaining this uptrend, so hopefully it does maintain that from January. So it's been on an uptrend since January, and we could see an ascending triangle here actually. So if it does maintain this 3 peso level, it would be a good candidate as well for a break above. So we shall see what it does, what it wants to do, because it's been rejected here once, twice, 3 times now, and that's proving to be a strong ceiling. But we are seeing our higher lows right here with support range being built every time. So it started from this level, 2.2 to 2.65, and then now the 2.9 level is looking to be holding up for now at least. So even ascending triangles could be broken down. These triangular patterns are areas of indecision yet, so it's like a range but with higher lows. So we shall see what it does, but this is a strong candidate for a breakout soon. So let's move on to our next one with APL. APL is still highly talked about, even though it's slipping a little bit and still going down and retesting these support areas at 23.50. We closed at 0% change today, 25.50, even with positive foreign buying of 1 million pesos. So this is still on a downtrend, yeah, and it still wants to touch this immediate support at 23.50, but the significant daily time frame support is here at 21.50, and if it doesn't stop going down a little by little, it would still want to potentially touch this. It would still touch it, the 21.50, 21 level, if it doesn't see a big enough movement on either on the upside. Yeah, so that's it for APL. Up next we have ACEN, who closed positively today. I didn't see the end of ACEN for today. The way it moved on the last minute, I think, or the last 15 minutes, it was just like a huge move on the upside, and there was a gap right here. It gapped up, essentially close above 7.38. Wow. So essentially it closed, wow, 7.38, but there's a gap right here. So it gapped from 22 to 38. Wow, that's a good closing for ACEN, and it respected this 7.2 level as a support area. So that is good. That is a good sign, but we still have this resistance at 7.75. So we shall see what it does, but it definitely wants to build a level range right around this area right here. So it's proving to be a good zone for ACEN to hold up, and we see a massive candle right here, almost engulfing the previous candle. So that is good sign. That is a good sign that it's building a support right around this price point at 7.05 to 7.25. So yeah, good move on the last few minutes, closing in at 7.38 and positive 2.2%, and a lot of foreign buyers for this one. So yes, that's our top 5 for now. Let's take a break. Let me just point you guys out to our Instagram account right here. So if you want to follow me and get daily updates from our live markets, I post them here on Instagrams, and I also post my my new video here every day. So if you want to be notified on that, so you'd be on time to show some support on the video, don't forget to follow my Instagrams account. And if you have enjoyed this video so far, don't forget to leave a thumbs up on this video. So hit that thumbs up down below. It takes a second to do so. And let's move on to our next one with Lodestar. What is Lodestar doing today? So for today, Lodestar, we also see a massive movement for Lodestar, but it's right on the resistance right here. So there was a support acting as a resistance, another resistance. So it's still there, and this trend line is still there. It kind of broke it for a bit right here, but it broke back in and retested this trend line. So we shall see if it gets rejected on that price point. But on our daily candle, it's definitely wanting to just go sideways for here for a little bit, so that it builds this range right here. So if it does build, you know, a good range here and maintains those resistances and maintains these support levels, that would be a good area for you to start accumulating here on this range at 1.58 to 1.64. But we did see a positive close of 8% at 1.75 when it hit these support areas at 1.58 levels. Even though we had a low of 1.45, we managed to close at above 8% on 1.75 peso per share. So that's a good move for Lodestar. Let's move on to our next one, another newcomer with CLI. So Cebu Landmasters Inc., 6 peso per share, and it saw a massive 14% gain today, even with a lot of foreign coming out towards the end, I think. So where did it break out from? I would say this area right here, because we saw it get rejected here for the second time after it got, you know, it built a support level right here. A candle closed, but it went back down and reacted to this price point, creating a lower high right here, but it managed to pierce it on the third attempt to break out, to break above. So we could say that this is a good level of support. We saw huge candles when it bounced on these areas. It was maintaining it for more than a few days. So yeah, I could call this a consolidation area where it built as support and then finally charging on the upside, breaking this resistance, and we do see a pullback right here. So it will want to create some lower highs first and hopefully a level of support in these areas. So we shall see what happens for CLI, but this is definitely wanting to pull back as it did, because it reached a high of 650, but then it closed at 6 pesos. So there was definitely a lot of profit takers on this one because of the breakout. So it was down here at 5.2 and it reached 6.4. So that's a 1 peso, more than a 1 peso per share gain, and definitely you will see people taking profit from these breakouts. So watch out for the pullback and build of support so that you can confidently enter without massive losses, because this could potentially retrace all the way down here at 5.39, but it could also build a level of support right here around this price point at 50%, because you know that's a healthy pullback to 50%. And if you like using the Fibonacci retracement, you know, I like it wick to wick right here. It could have a 50% retracement right around where I drew the arrows. So yeah, it could potentially pull back on those areas. We shall see what it wants to do, but I am confident that it will want to pull back and create some level of support in this area right here. That's too big. That's too big. Yeah. So this area is an area to watch out for around the price level of 5.7 to 5.8. So 5.7 to 5.8 peso range is a good area for it to build a support. I can't tell or predict where it will build the support, but that's a good level to watch out for CLI. So up next we have green. What is green doing? Close at 4.6 pesos or above 13% for today, even with a lot of net foreign coming out at 13 million. It did break above once again. It only pulled back here once. Wow, that's a great pullback. So now we can confidently say that this wasn't the support that it wanted to build, even though it was seeing some lower highs right here. This is definitely a stock that people still wanted to trade, and if you were able to catch it down here, wow. So let me just move this. I can say now confidently that this was a zone of support. This was a better zone of support for green. Let me just remove that because we had a resistance there before, but now we have our support level confidently built on this area, which is at 3.86 to 4. So I'll just put it at 3.85 to around 4 peso per share is a great new support after this first breakout, but then it broke above again and it broke out of this zone right here. So yep, this is definitely a resistance that it pierced through, and hopefully it does push forward a little bit more and finally settling right around this area for it to create a healthy movement and a healthy level of support right there. So if it does that, that would be good. But if it does retrace and break back in, we are looking at this price range to be tested and to hold, which is something that would be good if it moves healthily, because this is still overextended from our trend line right here, the red trend line. It is still overextended, and this is where it meets our trend line at around 3.9 levels. So if it does pull back there and build some level of support, I would be more confident to trade this one. So watch out for these levels for pullbacks. Don't get caught up here. Be patient with it for it to build a level of support somewhere above here or down here for you to confidently trade green, this stock. So let's move on to our last one in MM closed at 6.69. 6.69 or a 0.45% down for today, with a lot of not a lot, but like 600k worth of foreign buying. So it's in an indecision right now. I mean, we can see in our candle basically equal sized wicks on the upside and the downside. So it's right in the middle of nowhere right now, but it definitely wants to retest this level at 6.30 to 6.5 and hopefully build a level of support right there, like a clear level of support right around this area. And hopefully this will be a zone that we will see a bounce, finally a big move. And if it does just that, that would be perfect. So let's just do a quick recap for PSEI. Excuse me, sorry. We did see a positive 38 points or almost 39 points, and we are still in the middle of this 2 range. So hopefully what PSEI does is we build some level of range right here and finally breaks this downtrend, because if it does, I'm gonna be excited for its push on the upside, and I've been looking for that. I've been looking out for that since a couple weeks ago, and I guess we're still in a time where people are not as optimistic just yet. So are our investors. They're not too optimistic just yet, but I'm hoping that this does break this downtrend soon, because we are still clearly there. We got some rejections on the upside still, and I hope we get a rejection here so that our resistance is proven, but at the same time maintain a level of range at 6,600 to 6,800. So this would be a great area indeed for it to keep its support zone and potentially break this downtrend and consolidate finally, because I would love a consolidation area rather than it keep going down back down to 50 or 60 6,000 points. That would be sad. That would be dangerous for our market. But 6,300 is an untested zone. This area right here, this is an untested support zone right now, 6,200. So that's kind of scary if you ask me. But yes, we do still see it getting rejected. I mean, not rejected, but it's still here in the middle of nowhere. I hope it finally settles somewhere around this zone that we have drawn here. That would be best. So we shall see what it does. We shall see what happens. But for now, I am looking. This is a short-term support level / resistance right there. This is definitely a support that we're looking for it to settle down. So that's it for me today. And if you found something in this video, something useful in this video, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button and that subscribe button down below. Helps a lot. Helps me, make these videos. With that feedback, helps me make these videos confidently and put them out every day for you guys. So thank you for tuning into the Daily Top 10. And as always, to close this, I'm here to remind you to stay patient, be disciplined, and strive to be consistent with your trading. You guys have a great weekend. Take the time off to recharge, realign, and focus on your strategy and your trading approach. So I'll see you guys on the next video, which is hopefully going to be a tutorial video, or else I'll see you guys on Monday for the next episode of the Daily Top 10.